Hello, welcome to the Alone Show. I'm your host, John Malone, and this is the season 21 finale. I'm When that was announced, I think Risk really wanted to talk about that in this episode, and we may talk about other stuff as well with Eric Taylor as well, if he's going to be joining us. So I just started recording. I'm about to send the link, just like in the last season finale with Shadow Miner. That was a good one. I may want to bring on Shadow Miner for another episode at some point. I'm excited for what comes. Yes, it's a rocky road, and I'm a bit agitated with a lot of things going on in my life. But hey, let's just see how this goes. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure Risk is going to be joining in as soon as possible. When the moment I send the link out, he's going to join right away. He wants to get down to Labour's budget. He really wants to talk about that. And also, there's going to be other stuff in the news we talk about. Again, we have to find out about that. So, yeah, life has been hectic for me. So, I don't know. Like, so much has been going on in my life quite recently, and possibly a lot more into the next few weeks or months. I'm surprised I'm making it. I'm going through this so well. It's just astonishing. But hey, even if it does get bad, or it does get worse, well, life will only get better. Usually in normal episodes, I'd wait for either Risk or Eric to join and then start recording. But for season finales, I'd start recording regardless if they appear. Then when I start recording, then I send the link. Then they'll pop up at some point, and I say what we're going to discuss in this season finale. So until they arrive, I'm just gonna look at something myself. For example, yeah, I've seen news stories about President Joe Biden calling US or American citizens garbage. I mean, okay, this is a hot take. I can see where he's coming from, but on the other hand, and this is just me, how could you talk so badly about your country's own people? Like, they're the reasons you're in that position. Of course, you can have your opinions about where you live and what they do, but if you go to call names towards the people that brought you to where you are today, then what if, and I know he had already stand down from the nomination, but if he was still in the running, I'm not sure if anyone would ever vote for him for his re-election, his second term. Yeah, there's so many questions there. And I understand people have their own opinions about stuff. From how I see it, it's just not a good look. It, unfortunately, isn't. However, it could only have been worse. And I'm not just saying it. I've seen many stuff in the past that are pretty, what's the word? Well, controversial, problematic, just to name a few. But hey, this election cycle in the US is looking pretty tight. And I know, and even though people already have their own opinions on who want to vote for, it's very down to the neck. And I have seen a couple of YouTube videos looking at how the election could go. Like if Harris managed to get Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, it doesn't matter if Trump gets all the other swing states. If Kamala Harris focuses on getting electoral votes for just those three Rust Belt states, she is the next president of the United States. And in fact, same with Trump. It doesn't matter if Kamala Harris gets all the other Sun Belt states in the West or in the East Coast. If Trump manages to get the Rust Belt states, and only the Rust Belt states, he can make a comeback. And there's also other scenarios. Man, there's so much complications and mathematical equations. Math isn't my strong point. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. But math is not. Hello, Eric. Not much. Just started the eps. Just started the season finale. Gave the listeners a rundown of what's going to happen. In certain risk, when he gets there, he wants to talk about Labour's budget.
Got you. All right. So what were you going over?
All right, so besides telling the listeners about risk, I wanted to talk about the Labour budget. I'm talking about how life's been so hectic recently, and possibly in the next couple months or weeks. And I've also been talking about this election cycle, how tight it is. Like, it could literally be anyone. It could be Kamala Harris, it could be Trump, and it comes down to the Rust Belt states. I said that it doesn't matter if Kamala Harris doesn't win the Sun Belt states in the West or the East, if she only gets Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, that'll be enough for her to become the next president. And same with Trump. If he gets the Rust Belt states and Kamala Harris gets all the other Sun Belt states, Trump can make a comeback. And there are other scenarios, but there's so much mathematical equations, math is not my strong point, yada yada yada. And yeah.
Sorry, just like the Thriller song just turned on for a bit. But anyways, yeah, it's like you're absolutely right though. This could legitimately be anyone's race. I mean, it could either be Trump or Kamala Harris. I mean, like, there are people who are like cheering for Kamala, there are people who are cheering for Trump. But in reality, it does not matter unless they get those states' approvals, and whoever gets those states' approvals will be the next president of the United States of America. Now, I've seen some of Kamala's stuff, and I've seen her kind of just mumble and fumble and tumble and rumble. I don't know, but the point is just like I've seen like Kamala, like just she's not as confident as Trump is, and so you know her winning would be much of a miracle at this point, because like I don't think many people are voting for Kamala. If there are people who are voting for Kamala, then once again I'm gonna be very surprised considering her performance so far. She just doesn't seem confident, and plus she doesn't seem like she believes exactly what she's saying at times. She just clearly says it just for the vote. Once again, it's like someone on her PR team is like telling her to go to these churches to get to these black churches to get the black vote. And for the most part, I say once again, good luck. But it's like the reason why people like Trump is because they see a little bit of Trump and a little bit of JD Vance in them a bit. It's like they're relatable. Kamala is not relatable whatsoever. And it's like, for the most part, yeah, I just gotta say, like, she's just not relatable. It's like no one cares about her. No one can relate to her whatsoever, other than, like, she's a woman, but that's about it. And she's quote unquote black, but that's simply about it. And on top of that, I don't know I don't know who gave her the idea to, like, put on all these fake accents just for whatever crowd she's with, but it's just not working. So I don't know. It's like she looks tired too, and it's like maybe this isn't for her. Maybe it's not for her. Maybe she's not meant to be running a whole country, because I don't know. Probably if it was just her running it, she would crash out in 2 years tops, and like just give it to her vice president, which apparently he's not as good either, because he put tampons in men's bathrooms apparently.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that from what I've seen online.
Tampon Tim or tampon Waltz. It's like I
That
don't know.
that is
He
wild.
Yeah, I mean, he's not any good either. Plus, it's like there are people who also said that he was very sus, meaning he was gay, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It's like, just by looking at the guy, I don't know if they're not gonna talk about it, but it's clear that he's gay. I don't think I've seen his wife, or if he does have a wife, I don't think I've seen her. But for the most part, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, it's like it can really go either way. And yeah, for the most part. So I wonder, what do you have in store for, like, the next season?
Well, majority of next season is going to be discussions like ours because I've been very busy recently and I didn't have the time to put out more listings to get guests on. I did a listing last night, although I might put another one again at some point this week. But I think that what's in store for next season, most of the episodes is just going to be us and Risk discussing what goes on in the world.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea for the most part. I have noticed that I have noticed that you have been calling us a lot lately to to the podcast. I was actually wondering why, because known as you haven't really been putting out that many listings. You said right?
Well, at least I didn't have the time to put up listings as frequently to actually ask guests to come on the podcast.
Got you. Yeah, yeah, it's I get it. You're very busy, and so it's like there's only certain amounts that you can do, including putting out specific listings. So therefore, it's you're not gonna I'm not gonna knock you for that. And for the most part, I say I'm looking forward to the next season, and if and if we can invite someone, it'd be great. But if it's just us, that'd be great too. I'd say I'm ready either way, and I think me and Risker would be ready either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, yes, for the most part, is there anything in the news so far that caught your eye, or that's something that we might not know of?
Well, I did mention before you come on here, like I've heard news reports and stories that Joe Biden called the American people garbage, from what I've heard. And I was like, how could you say that to the people of your country that technically have been responsible for voting you in as the president to begin with?
Why did he call them garbage?
I I have not logged into it as much because at this point it's predictable. I know someone's gonna say something and people from either side they're gonna have their arguments and disagreements and you know what? I'm just done. I just can't be asked with any more politics. I,
Yeah,
I know I know it's gonna come more at me because well, it's important to know what goes on in the world. However, it's just I've seen it all. I've experienced it all, and even I may even know what's gonna happen next, historically speaking.
hey, for the most part, I'm not gonna lie. This has been one of the most. I believe this has been one of the most hectic years in terms of politics ever. Because it's a lot of people are hating each other. A lot of people are even ruining relationships over political views, which is really stupid to me because it's after this year election, you're not going to care about it for another 4 years.
Yes. And the thing is, this year is not just an election year, it is the election year. Like, roughly half the world's population that is eligible to vote in their countries would have or will be voting in elections at a federal, regional, provincial, state, or communal level or local level elections.
Yeah, it's this is a pretty important election year, and once again, so people want to make sure that the best candidate win. Most people think it's Trump. Some and other people think it's Kamala Harris. Although, yeah, once again, we've seen both sides, and we think that Trump would be the best person to win. I'm not gonna vote because I just don't care about any of them, and I'm definitely not voting for Kamala Harris because it's there's that pressure where it's you got to vote for her because she's quote unquote black and a woman, but it's I just don't think she's competent enough. That's simply about it. Trump, he at least seems competent, so if I were to vote, I would vote for him, but you know I think even if I liked them a lot, I probably still wouldn't vote. I don't know. It's I need a candidate that would persuade me, that would make me believe that they'll say exactly what they're gonna do. That's simply about it.
Yeah,
And none of them persuade me. Trump.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he's. I don't know what's true and what's not true. I don't know if he's just simply playing the game until the election is over. Which a part of me thinks that he's just playing a certain game until the election is over. He's putting up a certain front until the election is over. But still, you gotta question it at times. And I say this, once again, may the best person win. I'm not gonna take a side to this. I'm just gonna say whoever wins wins. And you're probably right though. If Kamala doesn't win this year, she's probably gonna run again another year in the next 4 years or so, or they're going to instill Tim Walz as the main running person to run. And just the thought of that is just hilarious to me. But for the most part, I say yeah, they're going to put someone in.
Hmm.
Shoot, they might even bring Obama back as VP so that people can vote Democrat again.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Also, I'm just thinking, may in the next election cycle, which is 2028, I know it's likely Gavin Newsom could be in the running after his time as governor of California, but also AOC would be above the age limit to actually run for president.
Who's AOC?
Alexandra Cortez, the New York representative,
Is he
it's a she.
I got confused with the Alexander part.
Alexandria.
Oh, Alexandria. I've never heard of her.
Well, funny you said that because I think in the past we have discussed about her that uh,
Wait,
despite she is mostly on the liberal side, she is rather good looking.
yeah, Alexander. Okay, I'm just gonna say her last name. Cortez. Is it Alexandria Cortez?
A full name, I can't believe I have to search this up. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yes, her. Her. I just couldn't say her middle name. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not gonna lie. She is good looking. I'll give her that.
yeah,
She actually AOC. Wow. Yeah, she's pretty good looking.
yeah, she is.
35 too. Pretty young.
Yes, and yeah, that means if she was doing a Democrat primary, she could actually be eligible to run to be in the Democrat ticket for this year's election. But of course, she would have been 34 when that happened. So only until the next election cycle in 2028 that possibly she could run as a Democrat to be the next president.
You think she's gonna? You think she would adhere to like the views of the Democrats, or do you think she would be become a Republican?
I'll tell you right now, the last thing that AOC would ever do is join the Republican Party. She is actually, now I'm not saying she's on the side of, she is at the same level as Bernie Sanders. However, she has very strong liberal views.
Hmm.
Like, her views are absolutely solid on the left. In fact, I've seen a couple of videos on TikTok or maybe Instagram making the joke that AOC is too woke for the Democrat Party, and whilst another woman for the Democrat is too conservative. But the point is, I think I saw a video online that AOC was name dropped as being too woke for the Democrat Party. I'm not making any arguments or complaining about or any extent. That's just what I've heard.
Got you. Okay, so pretty much there's no point. There's no chance that she's ever going to fold or her on her views.
She is very firm on what she believes and what she says, and she is very committed to the Democrat Party.
Got you. Okay. I'll be honest. I'm so out of the loop when it comes to my own. When it comes to like politics and this stuff. It's like because shoot, man. It's like I didn't really know much about her. I feel like we did talk about her, but it's like I didn't know much about her. Yeah,
She is currently the U.S. House of Representatives for New York's 14th district.
interesting. I will say this though, May if she does run, I wish her the best of luck. Um, and who knows? Maybe I'll vote. What am I? 22, 23. I'll be 20. I'll be close to 25 by the time the next election comes. So who knows? Maybe my views will change.
Yeah,
But
only time will tell.
yeah, but for the most part, I just don't. I'm just not gonna vote. It's getting close to that point, and yeah, no, I'm just gonna see who wins. But for the most part, I don't think Kamala's gonna win, but it could be possible that she does win.
Yeah,
There's never question that. Also, I wonder, didn't she have only a couple thousand on Twitter, and now she has 22.2 million?
on which platform?
X.
X. I wouldn't know because I don't pay attention to such numbers on most platforms.
I'll be honest. I could have thought I saw only her having a couple thousand followers. Now she has now she's in the millions.
Well,
Ab,
that's what happens in the world of politics, and you get a very strong political base. Like, just like what happened with Donald Trump when he appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience. Like, there was roughly 20 million views on YouTube in roughly the first 5 hours. That is the most views that the Joe Rogan Experience has ever gotten on YouTube. And that number is still growing at an exponential rate.
hmm. Wow.
Yes.
But what else is there?
Well, I have seen a video on TikTok, and it's by the BBC, saying that drop boxes were set on fire in Oregon and Washington states.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought there was more.
But there is more. I'll just play the audio.
Separately, in the city of Portland, in neighbouring Oregon state, authorities said an incendiary device caused a fire inside a ballot box there, damaging 3 ballots.
So, do you think that was orchestrated at all whatsoever?
Well, I'm not saying it's orchestrated, but I'm not saying that there is someone that has some strong views for someone to the point that they want to they want to have some kind of influence or impact, preventing a result coming in, regardless of how many votes were in there and they were tarnished. So maybe,
I believe that person somehow knew, like, how many people. I believe somehow that person knew, and to prevent, like, Trump, to prevent the, like, public support, like, for Trump, they burned the ballot box. Or by some miraculous thing, a Republican, put that box on fire so that Kamala wouldn't win. Who knows? But there's a clear reason why that happened. I mean, I believe it might have been orchestrated, it might have not been orchestrated, but for the most part, you'll never truly really know what goes on, like, within, like, someone's mind, to the point where they just set a ballot box on fire.
yeah. And and it does not matter what views someone has, and I understand I may not agree with whatever views people have, but to burn votes that could possibly determine the outcome, if they were not tarnished, what could that outcome be? And I think I think that's something that a lot of people would be very mad at if this ever goes out and they thought that whatever the vote they voted for, that could have made an impact. If that ballot or Dropbox was not set on fire.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's like, who knows what the impact of that ballot box could have led to. I mean, it could have even led to Kamala winning. Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's because people are such assumers that, well, I mean, for the most part, it's like they burned the ballot box, and so now we won't really see who people voted for, because now it's like, every vote is burned, and now people have to go back out and redo it again, or just do it online, which they should do it in person anyways, because that can't be changed, but online it can be changed.
indeed.
But what else is in the news?
So my so there's this newspaper outlet from my city, and it says that my city, which is Manchester, was named the second most unaffordable place to rent in the UK. Keyword rent, not to buy, to rent, which people would argue is actually a more cost-effective way, especially if you're not settling into a place all that well and may want to move. I think my mum has a few friends that, or at least one, that does move places every now and then, and renting is the best option for her. So having my city being unaffordable to rent anywhere in the UK, I mean, again, firstly, I'm not surprised because I've seen so much gentrification in the city centre, downtown, and many other areas getting refurbished, which, although it looks good aesthetic-wise and for social media, but it does come at the cost of so many people coming into that part of the city, which would encourage people to slightly jack up prices to take advantage of the high demand, because you never know if people in a city, town, or village, how much money someone has on them right now that maybe they can afford so much that we could ever anticipate, despite the fact not many people have enough money to get food, essential necessities, toiletry stuff, and whatever essential needs. There's always going to be a few people that has all the money to afford whatever they desire. With this, I think gentrification in general, I have no problem with refurbishing and making things look nicer, but the kind of gentrification, or the way, at least how buildings are constructed these days, is just bland and just ugh. You know, what happened to stone, the masonry? I'd prefer those kind of buildings than the skyscrapers full of glass or metal cladding. I mean, I'm not against having buildings with such materials, but don't make it the only type of building that could be built. I mean, Poland, for example, they built something that looks like it could have been built in the 19th century, but it was built, but yet somehow there was an engravement that says 2024, meaning it was built this year. If Poland can do it, and Hungary's done a lot of architectural masonry building projects that look so good. If Hungary and Poland could do such projects, why can't the rest of the world?
Yeah, I 100% agree. Why would that happen? Why would you do that?
Must be cutting on costs or something.
Yeah,
They think it's the cheapest way to build new buildings, and if considering the costs of this or that, no, we're not doing that. Well, we're not sure if it's worth it. I will tell you, even if the costs are high, if you're if it's cost efficient, you actually budget the best you can with building such projects, it can pay off. It just takes not just time, but efficient planning. At least that's how I would do it, just getting into it. First time.
yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's I think you should definitely do it that way, just so it can everything can just be done properly. But is there anything else in the news?
Yes, I'm just checking. Wow, yes, I've heard a lot about this one.
All right,
The
what is?
death toll in Spain floods tops 155 people, close to Europe's worst this century.
Wait, what'd you say? Say that one more time. Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, Spain doesn't rain all that often. The amount of rainfall they got in just this week is way more, in fact, double or triple the amount of rainfall that Spain gets yearly.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I mean, was it really that bad in Spain?
Yes, it really is that bad. Like, there's muddy, murky water along the streets, cars being piled up on top of each other, and of course, it's so bad, hundreds of people have actually died from these Spanish floods.
Wow, wow. I guess for a place that doesn't rain very much, it's yeah, I can kind of probably be see why it's it gets bad when it does rain. It's geez, man, that's crazy.
Yes.
I mean, for the most part, I just hope that those people are okay. And I gotta say this. I gotta say this, man. For the most part, it just matters that everyone is safe and sound, and that and it's whatever they're going through, man. It's they gotta get through with perseverance and prayer, and for the most part, I say, wow. So it hasn't really ever been that bad, or has it just been regular bad, or has it always been that bad when it rains?
I wouldn't know because I'd never hear news reports about weather in other countries. But from what I've heard from many outlets, the amount of rain they've gotten in such a short time frame, it would be devastating. Not just to the people and vehicles and the murky waters scattering around the streets, but it could likely, I'm not sure, but it's likely it could have been so bad that it could be devastatingly scarred some of the buildings in Spain.
That is definitely something, man. And it's like it seems like a really big deal. Like once again, I just hope that everyone involved is just safe and sound. And for the most part, maybe it always does get that bad when people when it rains, because you said it doesn't rain often. How often does it rain? Like every couple of years, every couple of months, or what happened?
What do you mean?
You said it doesn't rain that often in Spain.
Yeah, Spain, for the most part, is dry, very, very dry. And when it does rain, it's just a little amount. But of course, since it doesn't rain all that much, Spain doesn't, most cities in Spain don't have the kind of facilities to deal with whatever rainfall that could ever happen year round. Like in the Netherlands, it is not just a country that sits way below sea level, but they're known for their canals. They know how to deal with water. They have the system. And of course, it does rain quite frequently, but not as frequently as where I'm from. But whatever, but look, the Dutch do know how to handle with the sea and just water in general. They have a canal system. They have very good drainage because they know how to deal with water. They're literally surrounded by water of some kind. Spain, on the other hand, the only water they have is just the Mediterranean, the Atlantic Ocean in the north slash west. So, and if you go further inland, most of Spain's terrain is just it's just arid, dry desert land.
Hmm. Definitely very interesting, man. It's like wow, I didn't know that it was mostly dry.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's like that's definitely very interesting stuff. Is there like anything else like that's in the news?
yes. Uh, Hamilton says Norris can win Formula One title in down to wire chase.
Huh? What is that?
Formula One. So Formula One is like it's a racing car competition, and I'm not talking about, and it's not like NASCAR where it's just a typical four wheel. Uh, I don't know much about racing in general, but all I know is Formula One is very intense, high speed race car sports competition, and Lewis Hamilton is the most notable racers today. Most famous of all time is Michael
Yeah,
Schumacher.
Michael Schumacher.
Yes.
I
All right,
actually know a
so
thing about F1.
all right then, go on then.
Hamilton used to be big. He's not big anymore. He can barely even reach the top three at a moment. He hasn't reached a podium in like years. He might be well known media wise, but he's not the one running. He's not the one winning races. The current world champion would have to be Max Verstappen
Yeah, he's
from Red
pretty
Bull.
good.
Yeah, who I think, if I'm correct, is Dutch. Surprisingly, Hamilton is English.
Yes, Lewis Hamilton is from England.
What you might not know is that a lot of the F1 teams, they operate in the UK,
Yes.
including, if I remember correct, Haas, which is an American-owned team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And McLaren.
Was also British.
Yes.
What else was there?
Well,
Why you bring up F1? Is that because of the whole fact that there might be some cheating going on with the elections?
oh no, I just saw a news report saying that Hamilton says that Norris can win Formula One title in down to wire chase, as the headline suggests.
He's not got a fucking chance at winning. He hasn't in years. Hamilton, if my correction is, he should just retire because he's not no chance of winning podiums anymore.
Yeah.
Hasn't got the skill level anymore. Age has gotten to him like everybody.
Yeah.
He's supposedly moving to Ferrari, but there's no way in heck he's going to win races. So he should just retire. Enjoy his fucking millions. Hang out in the fucking sunset. Go to a bunch of PR. Go to a bunch of events with his hot girlfriend or wife. And just enjoy life. Because his career as an F1 driver is pretty much over now.
Yeah.
The only difference is he's got he'll have millions of pounds in tax shelters and just enjoy his life. I can't see that bloke. I can't see him being one of those guys that literally just interviews people. It's just not his style. He'll just leave. I can't see him interviewing people in the fucking racetrack for about pennies on the dollar. Maybe 50 grand at most. So what else is going on?
You want to talk about Labour's budget?
Labour's budget.
What are your thoughts on that?
I personally believe by April a lot of people will lose their jobs because national insurance is going up massively, right?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Certain companies will have to find 300. Certain companies, small businesses will have to find tons of money out of thin air, right? E.g., prices are going to go up. So effectively, I'm going to tell you this: prices will go up on food. Prices on rents and houses will go up. Prices on food will go up, and effectively everything that you think cost of living is bad now. Wait until this is done because everything will go up. Because employers now will have to question: am I really getting a good bang for my buck? Not going to question. If the answer is no, then they're going to sack you. Because the amount of money they're going to have to cover for this, right? The big businesses like Amazon, all the big firms, right? They're going to be fine. The likes of Tesco, Sainsbury's, they'll be fine, but they will probably lower the staff count by maybe a couple people, right? Companies like local tradesmen, right? Local tradesmen, right? So your journeymen, your plumbers, your freaking tool makers, all these guys, right? They're going to have to lose they're going to have to lose they're going to focus heavily on automation, and they're going to lose staff because, yeah, basically what Starmer and Reeves have basically given the go ahead to every businessman or a person with balls of sense, right? Automate. Robots. That's automate and robots and AI. He's effectively said automate, robots, AI. He not said that publicly, but that's what all the businessmen are thinking. Well, this is going to cost us money. Well, there's record technological breakthroughs in AI, ain't there? Maybe we could use some of that to freaking save on cost of staff. Wait, Musk has got coming out with robots. Maybe we should look into that. But yeah, everything's going to cost more, and effectively, everything's going to cost more, and lots of people lose their jobs. We're supposedly going to be raising our national budget to about 2.5 billion of 2.5 of our GDP, national GDP. I still don't think it's big enough to defend against, like the likes of Iran, Iraq, and all the guys in Israel, all the bad guys, but it is what it is. The capital gains tax, I'm not 100% pleased with because it means I've got a couple of thousand in the stock market, right? But I won't be able to touch for a couple of years until they lower capital gains. Mind you, I wasn't planning on selling that stock. I just won't be able to sell the stuff that's not in my ISA. Oh well. So what else is new?
Police investigating £300,000 cheese theft arrest man, 63.
That's a waste of time. Go after the fucking people that go after the illegals. So what else is new?
See.
So what do you think about her budget, the new budget? Do you think it's a good budget? Do you think it's going to just fuck people over? Or do you think only the rich will benefit from it? Well, let me tell you something about this, right? The new inheritance tax will fuck over farmers, right? People with farming estates, right? That'll fuck over tons of people. Right? That'll fuck over people with low farmers, right? Farmers in particular. This bill, the whole inheritance thing was built on fucking over farmers and handing over freaking large farmland in the UK over to cunts like Bill Gates. That's the reason why he came to Downing Street, Jamie. To fucking sign that, to get that written in paper. Guys like Gates will pick up that farmland for fucking cheap. Because the everyday fucking farmer, right, he's not going to be able to afford to pass that on to his kids. Right, he's looking at 200, 300 grand tax, right? How's he going to pay that off? Especially when it's all in assets, right? It's all in farmlands, all in equipment, right? The local farmer, right? Your local farmer is not going to be worth 200 grand. He's not even going to have that in the bank. It'll be in assets. Realistically, he's not. Even then, he would have to sell some stuff, and that stuff is hard to sell. So it's basically, Labour's effectively said, look, You want to pass on your farm or your family business, right? A local small firm, right? No, you maybe got 1 or 2 employees, right? Well, you're basically go fuck yourself effectively. Because how the hell are you going to pay it? Especially if they don't. It's assets. It's all in assets. But what else is there?
Let's see.
Well, apparently in Kentucky,
Yeah, some signs of voter fraud, if I remember correctly. I saw it on Twitter or X.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's not the only place. It's been helping in Maricopa County and some other counties as well. Wouldn't surprise me. They've also been telling people to go home early as well, which is wrong, which is illegal. There's
Yeah,
also supposedly been Democrats dressing up as actual voting people staff, right?
really?
Supposedly. Whether it's true or not is a question. Wouldn't surprise me. They're that desperate to cheat. Did you hear about this, Eric? Did you hear about Cablan Fortnite Land? Or
What'd you say?
Freedom Town?
Oh yeah, I've seen the adverts.
There's only been 300 people actually used it, right? And supposedly half of that was just fucking Cablan staffers. It
Well,
was that
well,
bad.
well.
It was that bad, guys, that Fortnite themselves had to distance themselves from it. Fortnite does not politically endorse any candidate. Did you also see the fact that Biden called every American that supports Trump, right? Garbage people.
Yeah, we talked about that before
And
he
then he
came here. I was
freaking,
like, why would you say that?
and then Trump fucking goes in a fucking garbage truck and does a speech. That's fucking marketing genius. I was hoping he would do that.
Yeah, oh, honestly, that is kind of funny.
Yeah, I saw Trump doing that, but I didn't know why.
I didn't know at first, and I found it out.
You're all garbage people. Then Trump proceeds to embrace it.
The Biden's clearly cannibalizing Kamala's fucking chances of winning. She was already doing it herself, but he's just making it worse.
Do you think Obama's making it worse or making it better?
No, I think I think Biden's doing this on his own. I think Jill and them are getting involved and saying, you know what, I want to fuck her over. They fucked us over. Let's fuck them over.
You think?
Yeah. It's well been known that the Bidens have never liked Obama. They've always despised the cunt. After everything, Tucker used to be fucking Hunter Biden's neighbor, right?
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson used to be Hunter Biden's neighbor, and he basically said, we never liked but Joe's never liked the Bidens. None of us have ever liked the Bidens. No Obama's.
Wow.
Effectively, the stance is the fact is like after what they did to Hillary, what they did to frickin' Biden in 2016, right? We're going with Hillary. They were pissed off with that, right? And realistically, Obama never supported Biden until he had no other fucking choice between it was him or Bernie Sanders.
Do you think?
I still think that nobody talks about what they did to him and did to Bernie Sanders in 2020, right? Where the fact that what they did was unconstitutional and undemocratic. They literally sidelined political candidates, right? They literally stole the freaking election, stole the electoral voting of the everyday Democrat, right? And they just instilled the person. That's why I hate Democrats, right? They instilled the person they want. It's undemocratic. Of course, we know for a fact that it's never going to be democratic because they're always going to put their guy in, right? But the fact they have the balls to just steal it and they don't care.
It would be so.
At least the Republicans fucking make it seem like, well, we care about democracy. We let you, the people, vote.
I'm not gonna lie. It would be so funny if somehow they.
That's what pisses me off about the Democrats.
It would be so funny if they somehow instilled Obama to be president again.
Well, effectively, what Biden's term was. You think Kamala's running the show?
Huh?
She won't be running the show. On this one, she's effectively his puppet.
Yeah, Obama's supporting her because he has no choice.
He's supporting her because he wants to have a backer roll in. He wants to control the things behind the scenes, right?
Yeah. Plus, he has no choice. I'm pretty sure he doesn't like Kamala. Really?
He never liked Biden. He fucking despised Biden. He always used to think. And Kamala despised Biden as well. She even called him a fucking racist on the campaign trail months before he was made the VP.
Wait, Kamala
racist.
Kamala called him a racist months
before.
Yeah,
if you look further enough back, you'll see it. But it was on the campaign, right?
Wow.
And then he's now fucking her, and she became his VP. The only reason why she became the VP was because
she's a woman of color.
No, she's the pick. She's the pick of the elite. She's a pick of the Democrat elite, right? She's exactly who they want. A fucking pushover tool, right? but she was so unpopular with the everyday Democrat, right, that they had to shoehorn her into fucking Biden's campaign. And even then, I think Biden's whole popularity, especially in that circle, was fucking fake as fuck, right? But Kamala was that unpopular, she got voted out in the first fucking round. And
Wow.
what does that fucking tell you?
Wow.
She got voted out on the first freaking round of the freaking Democrat primaries, right? Tulsi Gabbard, before she became a Republican, fucking trounced the bitch. And the fact of it is, right, she trounced her. And the only reason why Kamala was put on Biden's ticket was because of the donation money. And you want to know the other thing? The only reason why she's even in the fucking race is because if she wasn't in the race, they could use the money they got for Kamala's campaign, right? Biden's re-election, right? That's the only reason she's in the fucking stool. Because of the money of the Democratic elite said you can only use this money if you put Kamala as the fucking person, or you put someone from that campaign. It can either be Joe or it can be Kamala. Other than that, you ain't getting our money, and we'll be asking for our money back. Effectively. Well, yeah.
Okay, so they pretty
They
much
only
gave
put
them.
her in so they could get the money, use that money. That's the only reason. And this was
Wow.
fucking stated to them. Loud and clear on the papers. You have to look for it, but... And I'm sure they probably wiped it from the internet, but it was there.
Kind of sad.
Yeah.
It's like they gave them two bad choices, but they're pushovers, so I guess they were the right choices in their eyes.
Biden and Kamala are the right people for the Democratic elite, right? For the elite, right? And I'm not talking Republican, I'm not talking Democrat, I'm talking about the elite in general, America. They're the right people for the people that want to fucking control the things behind the scenes, that want revolving door between state governments and fucking private donor interests. She is the open flywheel to effectively the Department of Defense and effectively the freaking arms manufacturers, right? There's a reason why Dick fucking Cheney, the fucking warmongerer, joined her team. Dick Cheney, VP to George Bush Jr., the guy that got us into Iraq. BFF's Mr. fucking Tony Blair, the other cunt from Britain that got us into the war in Iraq, where we got nothing but pissed trillions of dollars down the drain and effectively funding foreign investment in that country, right? When none of the taxpayers in Britain or America benefit from it. Apart from getting a that swab of cunts coming into this country and basically asking for handouts, and while we get shafted, we're still paying for Blair and effectively Bush Jr.'s dumbass. Not to mention the fucking 3 or 4 wars Obama that black tool got us into. He's him, Bush, Obama, and Biden are the reason why we're all in war. They're the pinnacle of elite. Trump is one of the first presidents to say, the military loves me, right? The military personnel love me, right? Or most of them love me, right? But the military and industrial complex, like the leaders and the people that really run the thing, they hate me, right? It's not hard to say, but the military industrial complex wants us to be at war at all times. He's one of the only presidents that have ever said that. And supposedly he wants to end the Federal Reserve. You know what happened when Hitler ended the Federal Reserve?
What happened?
They went after him. He got the Germans off of the central bank, off the Jewish banks, right? He arrested the Rothschilds. He got rid of the central banks in Austria, and he got off the central banks in Germany. And he got his country off of the frickin' poison, which is the Jewish banks, which have been shafting us all for decades. And then they waged war on him. They got their vassal puppet states to wage war on him. Do you think they're going to treat? They're already saying, "Oh, he's Hitler, right?" At what point do you think that if he gets into power, right, he just changes certain things? You don't think they're not going to be affused at fucking? You don't think they're going to have any discipline in fucking going after him militarily? Here's the thought, guys. Do you know if Trump gets into power, right, and he does changes things for the better, right? How likely do you think that NATO or the British public might actually go after the British people might try and coup America? Or the government, certain government and militaries don't think they're going to coup America, run by the Jews, right? That's the thing I worry about. Like, we've got mass amount of immigrants coming into this country, right? But again, let's pick at the point. Let's say when we're at war, right? What's going to happen when we're at war, right? They're going to be our families and children are going to be defenseless. I'm thinking like a military tactician. I'd wait and get these people into war, and then launch a coup. Then, when the people that are at war are away. Am I wrong in thinking that's probably what they're planning? Like, wait until we're all at war, right, and then attack when we're weak. So what else is there? What else is there?
Why Britain is running out of pilots and how to become one.
We're not running out of pilots. We're running out of DEI hires. They want DEI hires. We don't want DEI hires. We want pure Brits running airlines. Hire people, the most talented people for the job. We'll hire people simply just because of race or gender. This country is a country for everyone. So what else will help?
Let's see. What about the cheese theft?
So what will happen? So who do you think will win the American elections?
Personally, it's hard to tell because
I
many
personally
polls are
believe
saying
that if it was a fair election, I think Trump would have won. But I have my hunch that they're going to try and rig it. But I don't think they've got enough votes to rig it. And I don't think they can I think people are too caught on to the fact that they cheat. So what will happen? So what's going to happen after this election? Will things change? Or
yes.
should we talk about the fact that the WHO is effectively wanting to go after anybody that is COVID, that is vaccine critical? Yeah, so the WHO's apparently saying we're going to be critical. We're going to go after people. We should go after people that are heavily critical of anti-vax, people that are anti-vax. I don't trust vaccines. I don't trust anything. They're big pharma profits. Big pharma would love for me to be fucking disabled and have to rely on them all the time for their fucking weird injections, wouldn't they? They get profits. That's how they make their money when we're ill. But yeah, what else is there? So what do you think there's going to ever be a chance when Britain breaks up? Or the UK breaks up?
Not at the moment. I think it's a long way till then.
You don't think that there could be civil war?
Oh, there's certainly going to be some kind of civil war, but it's not going to be enough for the UK to tangibly break up.
Do you think it would benefit? Do you think the country could benefit from civil war, or do you think it could make things worse?
I think it would disadvantage a lot of people because the thing is, war in general it's a massive headache and it will cause a lot of issues and if you've seen what goes on in Eastern Europe and somewhere in the Middle East, like people have lost their lives in wars like this. And I'm not saying that a civil war in the UK could be that bad, but what if it can? What if it could? That is the question.
I think there'll be a civil war in America. Either that or they break up. Do you think California should break up into multiple states? Well, Pacific Clinic, Sacramento should be its own state.
That'd be interesting.
Sacramento and maybe what would it be? Yeah, I would like Northern California to be its own state. And heck, maybe I'd be willing to put in frickin' San Francisco into it as well. Let California own like the frickin' Hollywood Hills, LA. Hollywood Hills, LA, Malibu. Nah. California's desperate, by the way.
How desperate are we talking?
Well, the fact that Newsom's frickin' going to be rolling out frickin' tax credits for fucking movie studios, right? But the thing is, it's not happening until 2027, right?
Yeah.
They're desperate, right? But let's be real here. By the time that happens, the movie studios will moved out to Nevada and that, right? Maybe in Texas.
Yeah.
Or even abroad. Still, movie studios investing heavily in the UK and Europe.
Yes, in fact, in my city, as of now, really, nearly half of the UK media is produced somewhere in my city.
But ain't your city the city that's got the worst poverty level in the entire state?
If you're talking about the fact it's the second most unaffordable place to live in the UK, then yes, you're probably right.
Is that right? Is that good though? Is that a good thing?
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but you're right about something.
Was that because literally the media jobs are going to start pushing everything up?
Nah, it's just that I think in the early 2010s, the BBC wants to decentralize its operations away from London and thought, hey, Manchester, my city, would be a good place for their studios
Why
to be
not fucking
based in.
base some shit in like fucking the UK or Scotland? Maybe Glasgow, maybe Edinburgh.
Yeah, that'd be good for the Scottish.
STV's already got a massive base in a bait
Yeah, it does.
and others. So why is the B? So what? Didn't they say they were planning on moving Downing Street somewhere else? Right?
Wait, really?
Well, doesn't the building need redone or something like that?
I wouldn't know about that because I
I think
thought
they were
I
talking
thought,
about moving it simply just to be more aligned with the people in that, or like some of the one of the downtrodden areas and that. Like maybe
but even it did move, there still has to be some kind of boundaries to prevent the public from being right in front of the door because there's
well, they
tons of
can't
people.
anyway. If you go fucking up, you can't even go down the street of Downing Street anyway, because it's like blocked off by a gate, and effectively it's by armed guards.
Yes, it's for security reasons because there's going to be so many people waiting outside Downing Street.
I'm saying, why don't they just fucking make the Queen make the King's residence in Scotland, right, and then literally just have that make Buckingham Palace the place for the fucking for business. How the country operates from Buckingham Palace, and the Queen can live down in Scotland. The King and the King and Queen can live in Scotland or some of the other houses. Why don't they give? Why doesn't the King just give Buckingham Palace the freaking to the MPs to run the country in through? Make that a government building. Sounds big enough. It's like the White House, ain't it?
Yeah, it has so many rooms, and I can't stress that enough. The amount of bedrooms the Buckingham Palace has, it just blows my mind.
It's
You
almost like
could,
America and the White House.
yeah, yeah, it's as big as the White House, roughly.
Now that would be a real fucking place for this country. Should be run out of Buckingham Palace. They've got Windsor Castle and they've got all the other places. Why not make the building Buckingham Palace? Why not use Buckingham Palace as a place for the we may as well get some use out of that building, and let's be real here, it could be used for the government building. For most of the government. Do you think there'll come a time when the UK doesn't have a monarchy?
I think those days are gone.
What do you mean?
Well, what I'm saying is the British monarchy will still exist, but for the UK to be run under the
No, I said,
monarchy,
do you think it'll come to a time when the British monarchy are fucking gone?
I think there will come a time, maybe not this decade or the next, but possibly later on in our lifetimes, there will be discussions about putting an end to the British monarchy.
I
But
personally,
it'll be quite a
honestly
long
do
time
believe
until
that
then.
I personally think we should force them to downsize, move the fucking government into Buckingham Palace, have the British flag fly right under it all the time. Buckingham Palace should be where the country is operated in. It shouldn't be fucking. It always pissed me off seeing all the fact that we've got a little flat, right? America's got a freaking massive mansion, castle. But yeah. Do you think there'll come a time where the southern states of America secede and become their own nation? Do you think
Interesting.
America will stay the size it is right now, or do you think it'll break up?
I think the United States will stay in the same size as it is now.
Well, I don't think it will. I think it'll honestly break. I think it'll
How
be
will
tiny.
how will it break up?
I think there's such a big divide in America right now that it is unpalpable to civil war. Right, the left fucking hate Republicans. Right, they hate conservatives. Right, the fact that they're willing to fucking assassinate their presidential candidate. Right, if shit doesn't change. Right, I think there could become a time of civil war. Right, there's already a bunch of people at this point in time that would love to fucking become their own nation. Texas is one of them. Texas. There's a lot of people that want to leave the country, right? I'm not saying all states leave. I'm saying I think most of the Republicans should form their own state, right? Their own country, one super state or one country, right? Have
Yeah,
independent provinces, right? Like I think there'll come a time where Texas is run, where the state of the Republic, the kingdom, the United States, the Southern United States will effectively the main capital will be in Texas, right?
maybe in Florida perhaps, but Texas is still on the top list perhaps.
I think it'll be Texas that pulls the trigger. I think Florida will join Texas in one state. Florida will join Texas, and Alabama and Missouri and Mississippi and all those states will follow behind and join.
Mm,
And you might have some of the Great Walls, the Great Plain states as well, like Wyoming,
yes. Yeah.
all the other Republican states that join. And you might even see some Democrat states as well. You might even see New York join, right? just for tax purpose, just for legit debt reasons, right? I can't see America staying as it is. Something's going to happen, right? Just for debt reasons, right? Just to pay down that debt and get rid of that debt, right? I think they're going to have to break up or do something, or give a country independence, right, and that, and then just load the country up with fucking debt, with half of the debt, right? It just blames it and say, look, well, make a guy Puerto Rican, make a Puerto Rican the president, right? But force him to effectively take responsibility for like 20 trillion debt or something like that, or maybe 5 to 6 trillion. We'll just say that it was over expenses and all that over the years of you coming onto the thing, and the country cost a shitload of money. I'm sure there'll be some outright panic over it and angerness over it, but they'll do nothing. They'll do nothing.
Mm.
So what else is there?
Checking. Somewhere else. Tesla's Elon Musk says humanoid robots will outnumber people in 20 years.
There's a funny thing with that, right? Musk and Trump said they're going to create jobs, right? They didn't specifically say we're going to create human jobs. They just said we're going to create jobs. Never said are they going to be for humans. He just said they're going to be for jobs.
Yeah.
He never specifically said are they human jobs, so leaves open to the fact that maybe those jobs can be used by robots. Yeah. Anything else, or is that us?
That's us.
Yeah.